Hello, it is our team SzigetNüneszek and we would like to show you our last mission or fairy tale. When we first arrived to the festival, the first thing we noticed was the huge Ferris wheel across the main stage. We already knew it is our fate to get up on the Sziget Eye, so we bought a beer and tickets and got on it. The queue was long, but it worth waiting. The view was breathtaking. When we looked down, we saw a huge camel. We looked at each other, then at the camel, then again at each other. We did not really understand what is a camel doing on a festival. Although the view from the ferries was amazing, we couldn't wait it to stop, and we could get down and go to the camel. When the round ended and the Sziget Eye stopped, a very strange thing happened. When we came closer to the camel, we noticed that the camel is equine. The camel approached us. The camel was looking at us, and we were really looking at the camel. And then she took a beer from our hands, and she drank the whole beer. After she spit up the bottle, she winked at us and turned around and started to walk in an opposite direction. We knew that is a second camel's giving us a sign that should we follow. So we did, and we didn't crash into the stage. When we walked up to the stage, we felt smooth breeze and closed our eyes for a bit to enjoy. When we opened our eyes, the sun was about to go down, and we all were looking at 1,000 people, some guitars in a hand. We saw the camel winking us, and we were looking with the stage trying to understand what is going on. Suddenly a man from the phone spared us and said, "Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Sziget Festival 2040. Welcome now to the stage, the greatest rock and roll band in this modern era, the Magyar Cells." The crowd was going crazy, and the Hungarian-Irish Quarter were biggest band. Meanwhile, István, Zoltán, Unak, and Kludak were very confused, and they had no idea why they followed a equine camel to the stage or why this crazy thing happened to them. Among all the madness, Unak instinctively picked up the tin whistle and hissed in the tin whistle, but no sound output from the tin whistle. So Nak tried again and again, but nothing. Nak was starting to think that the whistle was broken, but she suddenly, like if the camel was possessed, the camel started to dance in a circle on one foot, and when the earth began to tremble, and when suddenly out of the ground some giant pallets arranged in a circle. Unax was worried maybe the god of the camel was mad, and it was the last day on the earth, so Unak took a bear, and he saw in the middle of this kind of coliseum box with writing on it S. Unak opened the box with S and found a little paper in. It was a strange letter, written with sparkling. The message was addressed to Enoch himself, started, "So dear Enoch, I know a little bit strange to get the letter by this way, but I have to talk with you. You can meet me tomorrow at 10. I will wait for you on the top of Sziget Eye. You can bring your friends. Don't be afraid. See you soon. S." Unak, after the reading of a strange letter, was totally disorientated. He did note that he was not alone in the big arena. He decided to return to his tent and have some sleep before thinking about this weird night, but he couldn't. He did not sleep at all, wondering of who was the mysterious S. He woke up at noon feeling worn and tired, and got up to find his friends. He opened his tent to take a look around. The sun was shining down on his very face building. From a moment, he saw 3 blurry figures in front of the tent, whom turned out to be his friends. He was happy and excited to meet them. They discussed the incredible happening. They discussed the incredible happenings of last night, and Una took to odd letter from his pocket and read it out loud. They were all pumped to find out who mysterious S was. They spent day wandering around, visiting all the different spectacles of Sziget until the sun disappeared beneath the hills of Buda. Unak told his friend that it was time to go if they wanted to make it on time. They cut through the crown and finally saw the Sziget eye towering above them. They rushed to the cabin and hoped on an extent. Unak looked out of the cabin and saw the people getting smaller and smaller. The view was amazing. They were all amazed of the weaved clothes of Sziget under them, pushed their heads again the window, staring then, when suddenly the cabin stopped. And pushed their heads again, cabin stopped. A very strange sound was heard. It was getting worrying. Unak tried to calm down his friends, but it did not work. They were really afraid because they could not understand what was that. Zoltan started to shout like crazy. Oh my God, what's happening? What if the elevator falls down? Oh no, what if we get injured? Unak said to him, Hey Zoltan, keep cool. Here is the Obude Island. We are at Sziget Festival. We can be better than this. Remember, just wonderful things happen here. Then Zoltan stopped and they all started to feel well. They were ok now, and they were much brave and excited. Unak stretched out his hands to open the cabin door, but as he was stretching, the door opened automatically. There was a very bright light, and they could not see a bit first. After a few minutes later, a light started to get weaker and weaker and weaker, and they could believe their eyes.